Welcome, seekers of the truth, to the Magical Services channel. So this is going to be a most supreme career horoscope for the general collective for the time when the moon is in Aquarius, and this will be from August 25th, 2026, around 8:30 a.m. Universal Time, to about August 27th, 2026, around 6:30 p.m. Universal Time. So this horoscope will be for that time frame. So your professional identity enters a phase of detached, objective clarity as the moon moves into the intellectual airspace of Aquarius, actively cooling the dramatic karmic heat of past career reckonings into a profound need for systemic evaluation and rational distance. The Sun and Mercury in Virgo strongly support this atmospheric shift, demanding that you examine the actual practical mechanics of your daily labor without the distortion of corporate sentimentality, office politics, or the haze of past professional grievances. You are no longer being asked to perform your ambition, nor are you being asked to repeat the exhausting cycles of proving your worth to unyielding superiors. You are being asked to think your way through your career trajectory, to look at the underlying architecture of your daily work and determine with cold, unflinching precision whether it is structurally sound. This is not a time for strategic personal branding or visionary pitches. It is a time for rigorous professional auditing. Yet, Venus in Libra remains locked in a tense, exact opposition to retrograde Saturn in Aries throughout this entire window. This means the collective desire for harmonious workplace dynamics, effortless collaborations, and graceful financial agreements continues to hit the immovable wall of contractual obligation, hard professional boundaries, and the cold reality of long-term execution. You reach for the ease of being valued by your industry and instead encounter the stark, uncompromising question of whether your work can survive the weight of real accountability. You are being asked to evaluate your career not by how it makes you feel in fleeting moments of public recognition, but by whether it respects your autonomy, honors its financial agreements, and holds up under the unglamorous weight of daily deliverables. The friction you encounter with colleagues or institutions is not a rejection of your talent. It is a strict, non negotiable demand for structural integrity, mutual professional respect, and the courage to define what workplace dynamics you will no longer tolerate in the name of keeping the corporate peace. Operating just below this rational, almost clinical evaluation of your daily work, a profound institutional and psychological purge is triggered as the Aquarius moon conjuncts Pluto retrograde. This is one of the most intense, revealing transits of the entire cycle, forcing hidden power dynamics, subtle systemic controls, and unspoken hierarchies within your workplace and industry into the blinding, inescapable light. You may suddenly see exactly where you have been compromising your professional sovereignty to keep the peace with management, where you have been performing agreement in meetings to avoid the discomfort of honest structural confrontation, where you have been allowing an institution's need for control to masquerade as mentorship, or where you have used your own fear of financial instability to subtly manipulate your choices and keep your ambition small. This fierce Plutonian demand for professional freedom and systemic truth clashes violently with the persistent distorting square between Mars in Cancer and retrograde Neptune in Aries. While your rational mind demands space, clarity, and absolute transparency from your employers, your professional drive remains tangled in a thick, suffocating fog of corporate codependency, institutional nostalgia, and fear of the unknown. You might find yourself clinging to a comforting illusion about your company's culture or withdrawing into passive compliance and calling it quote unquote setting boundaries, when in reality it is just avoidance of a necessary career pivot. The Cancerian defensiveness of Mars wants to protect your livelihood and your professional standing at all costs, but Neptune's fog makes it impossible to see clearly what you are actually protecting it from. Are you protecting yourself from a genuine threat of layoffs, or are you protecting a fantasy of corporate loyalty that has already died? The tension between wanting to break free from toxic workplace dynamics and wanting to hide in the safety of a familiar, predictable paycheck is the core professional friction of this window. It creates a profound internal dissonance. The rational mind sees the institutional red flags with crystal clarity, but your emotional body is still desperately trying to rationalize them away. Meanwhile, Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius amplifies an untamed, almost feral hunger for unapologetic professional authenticity. Lilith refuses to let you shrink your vision, your leadership style, or your need for expensive growth to fit a restrictive, micromanaging corporate mold. You want a career that lets you build fully, wildly, and independently without editing your ambition to make the hierarchy comfortable. Driving the systemic shifts beneath this entire window is the relentless dismantling of outdated professional architectures and institutional power structures. Pluto retrograde in Aquarius continues the slow purge of inherited corporate dynamics, exposing where systemic control has been dressed as team culture, where blind obligation has been mistaken for professional loyalty, and where fear of failure has been disguised as prudent risk management. The illusions burned away by this detached Plutonian clarity leave behind a stark reality that cannot be compromised, spun into corporate PR, or rationalized by human resources. You are seeing your industry, your company, and your own market value exactly as they are, not as you wish them to be, and not as you were taught they would be, or they should be. This level of objective seeing is painful, but it is the only foundation upon which a resilient, self-authored career can be built. And as this window closes, the collective is pushed directly toward the threshold of the upcoming Pisces-Virgo full moon eclipse, which will serve as a massive culmination of these professional themes. The detached clarity of Aquarius is merely the preparation. The eclipse will be the execution. But before that climax arrives, the likely development of this specific transit as Jupiter in Leo forms a stabilizing, optimistic trine to retrograde Saturn offers a profound path forward. Jupiter's expansive, generous fire meets Saturn's demanding, unyielding structure, and together they offer something incredibly rare in the modern professional landscape: the courage to build an empire without enmeshing yourself in toxic institutional politics, and the faith to commit deeply to a long-term vision without losing your sovereign identity to the corporate machine. If you can survive this professional detox, if you can hold the boundless, non-negotiable need for creative and financial freedom alongside the practical daily discipline of mature, accountable execution, you break through the career ceiling entirely. You stop choosing between being financially secure and being professionally free. You realize that true legacy requires both. What emerges from this crucible is not a career based on institutional fantasy, corporate codependency, or karmic obligation to a boss who does not value you. It is a professional life built by a sovereign, fully realized individual grounded in absolute market truth, fiercely protective of its own autonomy, and structurally unbreakable. So that is what I have for you today, collective. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like this video, comment this video, share this video, hype this video, subscribe to our channel if you have not already, or hype our channel by letting your friends and acquaintances who might benefit from it know about it. All those acts would make my day and be greatly appreciated. Now, there's a magical service being offered in the description box as befitting a magical channel. Feel free to check it out. It could be very useful. And I encourage you to stay in tune to future uploads of the channel always, as I try to keep fresh stuff on here for you all sign readings, sign-specific readings, longs and shorts, divinations and astrology readings, and whatever else you would like to see feasible. So let me know about it. Until then, thank you so much for your time and for being here and being part of our tribe and supporting our channel. Until the next time, blessings.